Hi beautiful people, welcome back to Not Your Average Glove. This is a safe place where we come and we talk all things mental health. If you're new here, welcome. Happy to have you. My name is Sam, or Samantha, whichever you prefer. If you're not new here, welcome back. I'm always happy to have you. You might have noticed that the set has changed a little bit, and that's because I am staying at my parents' house this week. I said in my last video that there was going to be some really big life changes coming up for me, and I asked for you guys to pray and send me all the positive vibes. Please continue to do that. I greatly appreciate it. But in the meantime, my parents are out of town and they needed someone to help house sit. They have a nice little garden they need, tending to, and 2 dogs that needed to be fed and taken out and stuff daily. So I've been here since Monday. I'm gonna be here till Friday. And then everything else is just kind of up in the air. My life is kind of at a weird transitional period. And I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, why don't you get a break from your usual routine? And because usually they would just, water the garden really good before they leave, and then put the dogs at like a doggy daycare while they're gone. But my mom offered for me to come here, get a break from my normal routine, do a little bit of, tending to the house for her, but pretty much just relax for the week, meditate, get alone, reflect, and really just pray, get alone with spirit, and see what I wanted to do, how I wanted to proceed. So if you guys could please just continue to pray for me that the right doors be open for me, and that other doors that, I've outgrown, or situations or people that I may have outgrown, that are no longer serving me, that I just, with faith and grace, just let it go, because that is the law of attraction, that is manifestation, that is spiritual growth at work. As you make room for new and for growth, you have to release some things and let them go. And that's not always easy. So today's video, I wanted to do a little tarot reading for you at home about what you might need to focus on, maybe do a little shadow work, maybe do a little releasing, and what might be coming for you. It's going to be a collective reading, not a pick a card. I want to get to a place where I start doing pick a cards, but they're a little bit more complicated as far as setup goes. You have to have a tripod and do it above, and it's a lot of editing and stuff like that. And I'll be honest, technology is not my strong suit. I usually literally just prop my phone up and press record. That's how I record my videos. So I want to get to a place where I do tarot pick a cards, but for now we're doing collective readings. But I first want to talk to you what is shadow work, because shadow work is a huge area that I'm focusing on while I'm here at my parents' house. I am eating well, I'm meditating, I'm spending quality time with my 2 youngest children. They're my biological children. The other 2 kids are with Dakota and their grandparents. But I have the youngest girls here with me. Yesterday we got ice cream, we did a little shopping and whatever. Today they're currently taking a nap, but today we're gonna go to the beach for a little bit and just hang out, have a picnic lunch. But I'd really just spend some good quality time with them. But when I'm not spending quality time with them and I'm getting alone, I'm trying to focus on growth and on healing and on reflecting and prayer and meditation, and just see, just get alone with spirit, with God, with the universe, with source, whatever it is the thing that you believe in. And yeah, you might have noticed that these lovely little sunflowers here, these are from my parents' garden, and I purposely put them here. They were sitting over on a table over that way, but I put them here because sunflowers are my favorite real flower. I really like wildflowers or weeds, because just they pop up wherever, and I don't know, I guess it's like a spiritual like rebellion of mine. Like I prefer wildflowers because who the fuck are you to say that they're not real flowers, you know? But if I had to pick like a flower that you would traditionally give someone, sunflowers are my favorite. And the reason is because sunflowers will naturally turn themselves towards the sun. But on a cloudy or an overcast day, when the sun is hiding and they can't position themselves in the direction of the sun, they'll actually turn towards one another and they'll face each other and feed each other's energy. And I always loved that. It was always kind of like a little spiritual reminder that when you can't necessarily see the light, like things are cloudy, you might be depressed, you might seem like there's no hope, you can always find friends or other people or resources like this channel or whatever and face towards one another and be that light for someone else. And I'm in a weird transitional part of my life where things are very uncertain, and I'm in a weird transitional state where I'm in between houses. I'm looking for a job and for childcare and stuff, but kind of hitting some roadblocks or whatever. And so things are very up in the air right now. And it's at times hard to see, you know, Spirit, God, the universe's plan for my life. So things might seem a little dark or disheartening or, you know, whatever. And they serve as a reminder for me to lean on friends or family and just, you know, trust the process. So that's why they're there, and they're pretty and aesthetic, so enjoy. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of shadow work, and I've mentioned shadow work a lot on this channel, but I kind of want to quickly just teach you what shadow work is, or a method of doing it. Shadow work is confronting your inner demons. Everybody has childhood trauma or, you know, ugly memories that sometimes we suppress, and we have like trauma responses that we revert back to when triggered. And if you don't confront those traumas or those memories that we might suppress, it can allow you to develop like low vibrational habits. And my dog brothers are barking, so I apologize. But it might eat away at you and stunt your growth. So I encourage everyone to do shadow work. So I want to walk you through the process that I find the easiest. And that is, first and foremost, you get to a safe and quiet place. So you don't want to do this at your office at work or when the kids are all running around. And you definitely don't want to do this when you're having a bad day, because shadow work is not like, oh, we're going to just meditate and relax. Shadow work's hard, and it's very emotional, and it's not an easy thing to do, but it's an important thing to do. So first step is you get to a safe place physically and mentally. Then you meditate and ground. So you might do like a breathing exercise for like 10 to 15 minutes. You might do like, you might go on Headspace and do just like a little meditation, what have you. Just breathe, ground, might work with your crystals, whatever your process is. Relax. Then you're going to jot down your triggers. So what are things that like set you off? What are things that really anger you, that really just upset you, that really bring out what I learned in therapy as trunk monkeys, which are like low vibrational trauma responses, like the flight or fawn response, or like anger, jealousy, whatever. So what are your triggers? What are things that really just bring out the worst in you? And as you jot them down, reflect on them. Where did they come from? What caused that? And as you're doing this, memories from childhood or whatever will start to flood back. And you're probably gonna feel deeply emotional because sometimes there's suppressed memories that you don't even remember. I know that's the case for me a lot. Like, why do I feel the need? Because my go-to trauma response is the fawn response, which is like people pleasing. So the first time I did shadow work, like I was like, why is it that like my response when being triggered, like being yelled at or something, why is my response to people please? And then when I sat alone with it, I started to realize it was because of a specific situation when I was younger where I learned that I was like safer just to go with the flow, so on and so forth. So you might have memories that, you know, scare you or upset you or make you deeply emotional. But instead of suppressing it and shutting it down, allow yourself to lean into it and fully feel that emotion, and then go back to that time, that space, like be there for a second, and kind of like a third party situation, like give yourself, the younger self, that person that experienced that thing, without judgment, give them permission to heal. So for me, I would be like, you have permission to stand up for yourself. You are safe to stand up for yourself. You are valid in your opinions. Your voice is important. And you lean into that. And then after you do that, you jot down that experience. You journal it. You write down the memory that came up and how it made you feel. And then you write down that I am strong, I am beautiful, my voice is important, so on and so forth. And some of these things, they might take time and you might have to revisit them over and over again, but don't ever allow yourself to stay there, because the point of shadow work is not like emotional cutting. It's not, you know, just keep reliving your traumas. The point of shadow work is to allow you to release and let go. But in order to do that, you got to quit suppressing and you got to lean into it. So that's shadow work. Now, I'm going to take a little bite of my hummus and carrots. Now I'm going to do a little tarot reading and a little oracle reading for the collective. Just see if there's something that now you might be suppressing. And that needs addressing. So I'm gonna go with the Starseed Oracle deck first and foremost. Let's see. Oh, one of the cards. Baby steps, action, follow your intuition that makes sense. This first one, it was kind of stuck in the box. I took that as a sign that that one was for somebody. Starkeeper, cosmic ancestor, see the light by staying grounded. So I think this is advice, more or less, like when you do this, don't go too ham, like baby steps, stay grounded. You need to, that's why it's so important to first meditate, be in a safe spot. You don't need to be doing shadow work every single day. It's important to like seek discomfort and push yourself out of your comfort zone, but then you gotta come back to self and you gotta ground and you gotta reflect. Lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. The courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. Okay. Doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. Okay, so somebody watching this is not living authentically. Something that you need to reflect on there. I'm gonna scratch my nose a lot probably in this reading because the dogs aggravate my allergies and like my skin gets itchy. So excuse that. Okay, so this is really more or less advice for shadow work. So you need to take baby steps. Like I said before, you need to, don't go too too quick. Growth takes time and it's a destination, and it's not all like horizontal or vertical. It's staggered, it's wavy, it's left, right, up, down. Just when you think you're growing and you've made it to a secure and grounded place in your spiritual, mental, emotional growth, because we believe in holistic healing here on this channel. You can't have mental health without spiritual growth and physical health. They're all interconnected. So, diet and exercise and eat healthy and love yourself and meditate and pray and all that. And when you do that, then you get healthier mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because they're interconnected. Anyways, baby steps. So take it slow. Remember that you're not meant to shift your whole reality in a single day. That's not how this works. Then with the Star Seed or the Star Keeper card, this is a reminder to stay grounded. Remember that your reality is not based in your situations or past traumas. Time is relative. The here and now is relative. You are the master of your own life and the master of your reality. So when you are doing this shadow work, it's really important to stay grounded and stay present in that this situation is not happening to you in your physical body here and now. This is the past. You survived it. You have a 100% survival rate. Because when doing this, oftentimes, you're reliving traumatic experiences that need healing. And some people's trauma runs a little deeper than others, but all trauma is valid and all trauma needs healed. So stay grounded, stay present, take breaks, take breathers. Give yourself permission to grow slowly, okay? It's not a race. Then the lifting the veil, when you do this, you are literally seeing the God within yourself. So God, spirit, doesn't matter what religion you are, or maybe you're not religious at all. The big boom, the energy that runs through everything, is also within you. So when you do this, you're lifting the veil off of, you're stepping out of those unhealthy trauma responses, and you're raising your vibration to realize that spirit God is within you, that strength. You don't need to seek validation and your source of happiness from others. You can start creating that light for yourself, and you can be your own source of happiness and of healing. Then the courageous, peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. So as you start to do this, you'll start to get in touch with the real you, the authentic you, and that's what healing is all about. It's not about trying to get to the same place as me or your neighbor or your sister or your husband or your wife or whatever. It's about getting in touch with your true nature. Who did you want to be when you were a little kid? Who were you before society, family, friends, situations chipped away at your authentic self and told you that who you are, your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, your thought process, your way of being, who are you at your core before society told you that it was wrong to be that person? It's getting back in touch with that child and saying, you're beautiful, you're valid, you are healed, you are important, you are allowed to just be. And then the portal, when you do this, doors open for you, rewards are coming. This card is stunning. This is like a portal into the next dimension. It's the next phase of your life. When you give yourself permission to heal and you align with your true self, you are in alignment with spirit, with God, with the universe. And then things just flow so much easier. You don't have to keep fighting and doing and being. When you're in line with spirit, you remember that we are souls living a human experience. We aren't meant to just wake up and work a 9 to 5 and do this and do that. We were put on this earth to like eat fruits and vegetables in the garden and just be and just love and care and grow and learn. But we have it so ass backwards nowadays. So when you get in touch with your truth and your authentic self, you also become aligned with source, God. Like in the Bible, in Christianity, they say that like God made man in his image. I believe that to be true in spirituality as well. That spirit source, that energy that flows through everything, God is within us. And when we get in touch with our true self and we chip away at all the bullshit, all the social norms and conditioning and societal like pressures on us, and we get in touch with our true nature, we become one with God. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna pull some Hush Tarot. Now this is a new deck for me and I'm still learning this deck. So I'm going to do a mixture of like book meanings with intuition based on like what I see in the imagery. So I am gonna reference the book because this is a new deck for me. But I love this deck. So what else, Spirit, does people at home, does the collective need to know? What needs to be addressed? What advice do you have for them during the shadow work? What needs to be talked about? Okay, I felt my spirit take these two. Okay, so 5 of Wands in reverse and 7 of Pentacles upright. Five of Wands in reverse. Five of Wands reversed, relief. Conflicts and struggles have been worked out. Goals are back on track. Yeah. Okay. And then 7 of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles, sorry. Give me just a second. 7 of Pentacles, vision, reward. You are enjoying a restful time surrounded by the blooming prosperity, the investments of nature, blah, 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 balance with nature and the world. Okay, cool. So, what these two cards are saying coming out together is that when you do shadow work, obviously it's difficult and it's not an easy thing to do, and it takes time and it takes a lot of energy. So these two cards coming out together, the first one is talking about like restfulness and like coming back to self, which is what I was saying before, that you need to come back to your center and give your soul rest. But also doing shadow work, even though it's a difficult thing to do, the purpose of it is, even though you've suppressed those things, those traumas, those triggers, and you've like pushed it down, your soul is always an unease because you always are like on edge waiting to be triggered, subconsciously, of course. So when you do this, you're giving your soul permission to heal, therefore your soul can rest. And when you do that, there's reward for that. Like I said that before, like portals will be open, spirit will open doors for you and reward you for your hard work. It's beautiful. I also want to note that the bottom of the deck energy was the Knight of Pentacles, which is oh God, this is beautiful. Okay, this specific Knight of Pentacles has bird on it, and he is perched up on top of hands that look like they're praying, and within those hands there's a key, and then the bird also has like a little red like string around him, and then there's a little bee and an ant and all kinds of beautiful imagery in this card. And this is the bottom of the deck energy. And the Knight of Pentacles, especially this Knight of Pentacles with this imagery, really the message that I'm getting is that when doing this, you'll see the fruits of your spiritual and emotional labor manifest in the physical realm, because the Pentacles, they're about tangible things. They're about like money, home, like material items. So for this card to come out with the praying hands and the key and the birds all, to me, always symbolize like spirit. So what the message that I get is that the doors will be unlocked. There's the key, like the things you've been praying for, because he's like perched up on praying hands. The things you've been praying for, your wants, your desires, things that might seem like intangible for you, will now become a reality. You'll see the fruits of your labor. You'll see your desires, your goals, your dreams come alive for you. I keep going back to the imagery of this string, and it's like wrapped around like the nature, but it's in his beak, and it's kind of like tangled around his foot. And the message that I'm getting is that it empowers you to untangle yourself, what you've been wrapped up in, what's been holding you captive and like having you bound, where you can't take flight in your life, where you don't have that freedom in your life. You now have the power to untangle yourself, to release it all, to loosen yourself. I'm hearing that song Free Again by Edgar or something or another. I wanna be free again, when no one tells me how to behave. That song, I love that song. But anyways, that song was playing in my head. So like, maybe you just have not felt, wow, that card really wanted to come out. And look, it is the King of Wands, and once again, it's another bird perched up with the red string again, and this bird is completely untangled. In the other one, it still had a little bit of string wrapped around its foot. This bird is just holding the string. It's untangled, and it's like perched up on like a stem that's like coming out of a mouth, and there's like a little worker bee like right above the lips of the girl. And the message that I'm getting from this is that like you'll be able to then speak truth and speak your freedom and share that message with others. Like when you've healed and you've done the work, you can then be that light, like the sunflowers. You can then turn towards another and share that message, that healing, and be that support system for someone else. Because I think sometimes we want to help others and be that light for them, but we forget to care for ourselves. And you can always, at any stage of your life, even when you're broken or alone, you can always be a support for other people, and you should. There's healing in helping others. But sometimes the best testimony to help, the best advice for others is your own story, your own testimony. 7 of Cups, Knight of Cups, ooh, and then the Page of Cups. Okay. This 7 of Cups is very strange. I have never seen a 7 of Cups depicted like this before, so I'm gonna look this one up. It's got like a girl with like a rabbit like hat on. This is a very strange 7 of Cups. I'm very curious to see what it says. I mean, obviously 7 of Cups is like imagination and possibility, but I'm really wondering like why the rabbit hat and stuff. The dreamer is swept away in a dolge of illusions and ideas. So many projects, so little time. Prioritize what can be accomplished and what is out of reach. And right as I read that, I thought of Alice in Wonderland and the white rabbit, and he's running, you know, with his little time, and like, you know, like his clock saying, you know, like, I'm late for a very important date. There's no time to say hello or goodbye. I'm late. I don't know why, but her being in the rabbit, and then that message of like prioritizing like things and being like unraveled reminded me of that white rabbit. So like maybe you constantly feel like you're drowning in responsibility and you can't catch up, and like maybe, okay, this cups, and cups to me is like emotional fulfillment and like sometimes love and relationships. So this won't apply to everyone, but maybe there's somebody watching who wants, you know, love and happiness and emotion. And I'm getting, wow, okay, I just got a message that someone is like, and I mean this with so much love, but like emotionally like immature. Like maybe you've never been able to experience like deeper bonds. Wow, okay, this is very specific messages. These will not be for everybody, but I just got like some serious like fuck boy vibes. So maybe there's a gentleman watching this who like you haven't been able to dive deep into relationships because of past trauma that you need to confront, because this whole message is about shadow work. There's some things from your childhood that need healing, that need to be addressed, and you want maybe to have this deeper love. Maybe you want to rush in like the Knight of Pentacles, like come in like a knight on a white horse and offer this cup of love, but this is in reverse. And this specific card has the woman as the knight and the man's kind of down here at the bottom, and this is in like reverse. So maybe there's somebody that you're in love with, that you want to be able to be their knight. You want to be able to be their hero, you want to pursue them, but maybe you see them as more like emotionally or spiritually evolved than you. Like maybe they seem to have it more put together. Maybe they've done more shadow work, they've done more healing, they've done more therapy, and you're like, I don't know if I can be that person for them. I'm more comfortable allowing them to charge forward in their life and in their healing, and I don't want to stunt their growth. And because of that, going back to the white rabbit, you're distracting yourself with like more material things like work and like tangible things you can control, like, but because you're not addressing the problems at hand, you're always feeling frazzled and out of control. And I'm late for a very important date. I like, you feel like I want to charge forward. I want to be able to offer this cup of love and have a real, tangible, deep and healing relationship. But because you haven't done the work, because you haven't looked to the things in your childhood that need healing, and given yourself permission to heal and told your inner child that those things weren't your fault, that you were valid, that you're real, that you're deserving of love, that you are safe to voice your opinions, that you are safe to be your real authentic self, that you don't have to put on a mask. You're instead focusing your attention on tangible things like work and money and maybe like working out. All right, this is such a specific message. Somebody is watching this that like you are this person. You're like workaholic energy, like just diving deep into like material things to distract yourself from healing. And this is like spirit really saying like you are called to be healed. You need to do some shadow work. You need to maybe go to therapy. You need to meditate, you need to ground, you need to really make healing your priority. Remember how before like the doors would be open and like the pentacles were coming out. Spirit is saying that like when you take the time to heal and you work on your spiritual and emotional side, material things fall into place. You won't have to run around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to force like your manifestations, money, abundance. The material things will fall into place. Like God has got you. You will be supported, you'll be loved, you'll be taken care of. Life becomes easier when you're in alignment, when you're in that flow state, and you can't get there until you do the hard work. Then the Page of Cups is like this cute little bird, and he's like, there's like this little like banner, I guess, kind of like wisping out of his mouth, which kind of reminds me of like a song. Like you'll be able to sing, you'll be that like songbird, you'll be able to like speak your truth. Your Spirit's really wanting you to, oh, I just got the love over fear message. Oh, this, dude, there is somebody watching this video that like I am speaking to you. If you need confirmation, like if this is about you, this is about you, like you need to speak your truth. You need to take that leap of faith. This is such a weird message to come out with the Page of Cups, because this is not the Page of Cups like usual meaning. This is like all intuition based. But like you need to sing your song. You need to take flight. Like you need to unwrap your wings, that red string. Ooh, red anger, passion, like ooh, okay, weirdly specific message, but like maybe you're all wrapped up in anger and resentment in your childhood and you're not comfortable with like romantic, deep, emotional feelings. You're more comfortable in that like fuckboy energy. I don't know why that keeps coming up, but like maybe you've had like more like trysts, like love affairs, like little like, you know, like going on vacation and meeting some like hot exotic woman and having like a little fling. Maybe you're not comfortable with diving deep in your emotions, being vulnerable, because in your childhood you were told that you like that was unsafe. Like maybe there was a specific situation where like you weren't allowed to be who you are. It's a really sad message. I'm going to pull some more cards for some other people because this is like very specific to one person. If this applies to more than one person, I will be very shocked. But if this applies to you and you're comfortable like saying, hey, yeah, that was about me, that resonated, thank you for that, can you let me know? Oh, and then the king, wow, the exact same card just fell out again. The King of Wands. It's the bird over the mouth. Okay, this is like a very feminine mouth. So maybe, I keep getting that I'm speaking to a man, like masculine energy, like somebody who identifies as a man. So maybe, and then there's like the red string coming out of the mouth. It's got the bird all tangled up. So maybe feminine woman, like maybe your mother, or a past lover possibly that was toxic. Maybe they spoke some things to you out of anger, because I don't know why, but the red string is reminding me of anger. or in a heat of the moment, like a passionate moment, they spoke some things that hurt you and it kind of bogged you down. And I keep noticing this bee, and I always think of like worker bee when I see bees. So maybe they spoke some things that weren't necessarily aligned with truth that hurt you, and it kind of got you tangled up, and it got you like stuck in this mindset of I've got to work, I've got to be the provider, I've got to be like the man. This is like very like and I don't mean this ugly, I mean this just from a place of honesty. This is very like distorted masculine energy. This is toxic masculinity, and that's not a cute look for anyone. Spirit's really coming to you to say that like that's not where your worth lies. That person who spoke that to you, that like made you feel like your worth, your validation comes from being like that worker bee, that like provider, that like strong macho man. That's not born of truth. That needs healing, that needs addressing. You got to reprogram your mind and your way of approaching things. Now, I don't know this person in like the real like 3D. I met them online and they have become quite a good friend, like online. But so I don't know whether this is their like real authentic truth or if this is just their online persona. But there is this guy named BC Serna who he has a podcast, Pursuing Purpose, and he does like these men's retreats and women's retreats also, but he's actually just posted on his Instagram. So look up BC Serna, Serna. He just posted today actually in his Instagram story that he's doing like a giveaway for a men's retreat. And he does really deeply healing work. Like I really think he's an amazing person. I really love his spirit. But one of the things that I love about BC, or at least his online persona, because like I said, I don't know him personally. I've never met him. We've just had a few very short talks on his Instagram. But one of the things that I love about BC is he's not afraid of feminine energy. He's not afraid to dive deep into his emotions and into his healings. That's like his whole message is like, I don't want to misrepresent him. I think it would be better for you to like, he's got a YouTube channel and he's got a podcast, so go check him out. If this message is like really for you, I really want you to go check him out and what his work is. And he doesn't just do this for men, but I don't know why, but God's really telling me like you need to connect with BC. What I love about BC and what I admire about him is that he's not afraid to cry. He's not afraid to dive deep into his emotions and reflect and get one with nature and like connect with the moon and like meditate, and like that's literally his job, is helping people like connect with spirit and with God and with their purpose in life. And you can't actually be connected to your purpose in life until you're first connected with your true authentic self. And I keep getting this message that whoever this person is that I'm speaking to right now, that you are a workaholic and that you're trying to gain your validation through your job. And I'm getting this message from Spirit that you're not actually living your purpose, that your current job, you might be very successful. Like I get like player vibes, like fuckboy energy from you. I get this message that maybe you have like a lot of money, like maybe you're somebody who is very successful at what you do, so you're kind of like stuck in that hedronic treadmill, like that, like, okay, this must be my purpose. This must be what I'm supposed to do. I got to continue to do this, but you're not fulfilled in what you're doing. And the fulfillment isn't necessarily because of your job. The lack of fulfillment is because you lack healing. But this is a weird message but I'm just going to say it. I don't think you're meant to be doing what you are doing materially. I don't think that your job is necessarily aligned with your purpose. I think you will find more fulfillment once you find your healing, because I think you're meant to be doing something else. This is all intuition based, but like maybe you're meant to be like a teacher or a healer. I really am getting a message that like you are really, really, really stuck in this like distorted masculine energy, but your natural self is very kind and compassionate and warm and loving and softer. And that your true, authentic, balanced self is this perfect balance of masculine and feminine. And that's so beautiful, honey. You're meant to be like that. And like, from a woman who's attracted to men, I'm actually attracted to men and women, I'm pansexual. But can I just tell you that like, it's so incredibly sexy when a man can be in touch with his softer side, his intuitive side, his spiritual side. Like, that's not weakness, that's strength. Like, a man who isn't afraid to cry, a man who isn't afraid to go to therapy, a man who isn't afraid of healing is so damn sexy. So when you do that, the material things will come. I think you're afraid to make those big changes in your life because you're scared, because what you've been doing in the material realm, at least, you've been successful at. So you've created some unhealthy patterns for yourself because it's what you know, it's what works for you. But Spirit's saying that, like, because this all started with some offer of love, some girl that you deem as maybe stronger than you in the spiritual, emotional sense. Like maybe she's more evolved, more awoken. Spirit's saying very loudly, you're enough for her right now. You are good enough for her. Maybe you don't feel good enough. Maybe you don't feel like you can make this offer of love. And Spirit's encouraging you to heal. But the parts of you that are broken are not, it's not that you don't have enough money. It's not that you don't have enough stability to offer this person. You do. What you're lacking in is what you're avoiding. It's depth. It's sing your song. Get vulnerable. Rejection is really difficult, but in all things, take it from somebody. I don't know if I've ever said this on this channel, but none of this message is coming from a place of judgment. I was a straight up hoochie mama flirt back in the day. I'm not proud of this. It's not something that like I go around bragging about, but I'm getting the message that like you feel slightly judged or slightly attacked right now. So let me tell you a little bit about my personal story. I never do this on this channel, but I had some this is something that I've learned, like how it all played out through doing shadow work. So this is still about shadow work. I didn't come to this realization that this is why these patterns of behavior started until I did shadow work. So what I've learned from doing shadow work is, back in the day, I had my first real boyfriend. And before that, I was very innocent and very romantic. And I had these like idolized views of love and of romance, and I had the intention of saving myself for marriage. I still to this day believe that sex is more than just physical. It's an intertwining of souls. It's a beautifully spiritual thing. That's why it's hard to release exes, and that's why when you are in that like fuckboy player energy, you're like emotionally scarring yourself, and you're actually damaging yourself more because you're giving little pieces of your soul away. But my very first boyfriend, trigger warning for any survivors out there, might want to end here or fast forward a little bit, okay? Trigger warning for survivors. But my very first boyfriend pressured me into having sex with him before I was ready. So I was raped at 17. And that really, really scarred me because I had the idea or the notion that I was going to save myself till marriage. Or at least until love. I was raised to save myself till marriage, but it didn't have to necessarily be like on my wedding night or whatever. It was like my soulmate. Like I had very, 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 very romantic views about sex and love. So when that happened, it's like my notions and my dreams and like the way I perceived love and romance was completely shaken up. And then he ended up breaking up with me and cheating on me and all kinds of stuff. So it all seemed at the time like it was all for nothing. And I blamed myself at the time because I thought it was my fault because I put myself there and yada, 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 yada. I've done the shadow work now and I've healed it, and I've told myself now that it was not my fault, that it was, a bad person with bad intent, and that even though I felt at the time that I was all used up and that I couldn't be whole or healed for my future husband or whatever, that's not the case, that if I wanted to save myself till marriage or save myself to that person, even though, whatever, that since then I've healed it is what I'm trying to say, okay? At the time I was very hurt and I was shaken up. So I went into like a straight up hoe face. Like, at one point I had a friend who got angry at me and called me a whore. And she's like, I bet you don't even know what your number is. And at the time I just brushed it off and I just had like a catty remark back or whatever, and I pretended like it didn't hurt me. But I went to my room, upstairs actually at this house, and this was like sophomore year of college. So I was in my early 20s. And I remember sitting down and trying to write down like how many men and women that I had slept with. And like, I wrote them down, and it was a pretty high number to begin with. Like I said, I'm not proud of this. It was a pretty high number to begin with. And I was like, holy crap, yeah, wow, okay. And then as the day evolved, I would have like a flashback or a memory of like a drunken night with somebody else. And then I'd remember like hookups, like it wasn't necessarily sex, like, or like intercourse, but I remember making out with somebody else or doing this or doing that and blah, blah, blah. And like the list just got higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And by the end of like that, like 2 days, I got to a ridiculously high number. And I realized, like, holy shit, I was giving little pieces of my soul. And maybe you don't believe in that, and that's fine, but I do. I was giving little pieces of myself to people whom, quite frankly, weren't deserving of it. And I was giving pieces of myself away and leaving nothing for myself because I felt as if it was too late. I had already given it away. And that's one of the main reasons that I stepped away from Christianity, is because of that toxic thinking. It was wrong of me to believe that, like, virginity was tied to wholeness to begin with. Maybe somebody out there, maybe you're a young girl, has those ideologies that, like, if you're not a virgin till marriage, that you are, like, used up and you're gross and you're going to hell. That's not the case, okay? It's very specific, but say all that to say that I've since then healed it. But for a long, long time, I was afraid of commitment. Very afraid of commitment. I was not afraid of relationships, because I am a romantic at heart, but I was like a habitual dater. Like, I would get out of one relationship to get right back into another. And it was flings. It was like short little, like, I had like 3 big romances in my entire life. Like 3 like really long-term serious relationships. But other than that, it was a whole bunch of flings. And I don't mean like 10, I mean a lot. I got around, okay? Not proud of it, but I'm getting this message that maybe you are that person that I was, that where you just kept giving away pieces of yourself because you were trying to find wholeness in the arms of someone else. You were afraid to be truly intimate, because intimacy isn't just about a physical connection. It's about a mental, emotional, spiritual one. That's why it's so important to heal. Because sex with the right people, sex with your soulmate, your lover, your divine counterpart, your twin flame, whatever, is such a beautifully healing experience. It's a connection of souls. I'm not telling you to save yourself till marriage. I don't believe in that ideology anymore, but I am telling you to, it's time to put down the facade of this macho man mentality of like just falling into the arms of women, of like casual flings, because God has for you something so much deeper, so much more beautiful for you. And you're gonna experience passion and romance and sex so much deeper than you ever have before. But first comes the healing. And then when the healing comes, all the physical things, the money, the success, the job that you truly are, your purpose, you're gonna live your purpose, honey. Yeah, this is such a specific message. Wow, I was not expecting this. Let's do the self-care oracle deck, because like I said, after shadow work comes, it's very important after seeking discomfort to come back to center, come back to yourself, and grounding and meditating and healing, and self-care is a huge component of that. Wow, okay. Okay, Spirit, chill out. Okay, so a lot of cards came out, so a lot of advice for you. Clean your space. It's time to detox. Get rid of the clutter. I'm also getting the message like maybe you got like your ex-girlfriend's like stuff still at your house. Like maybe this is a very specific message, but maybe you are Wow, very specific. Okay, this is odd. This might not resonate for most people, but I just got like, you have like a Spotify playlist for ex-girlfriend that maybe you still re-listen to. There's a music card right next to this one. This is why this came to me. There's a Spotify playlist, like maybe you're like emotionally cutting, where it's like not like physically, but like emotionally, like maybe you're re-listening to the same old love songs, like your playlist and this, that, and the other. Like that person that spoke that, like those triggering words to you that really like shook up your view of romance and love and like your identity. You're holding on to something from her. Maybe it's like an old t-shirt that smells like her. Maybe it's pictures of her. Maybe I keep getting a Spotify playlist. Go delete that fucking playlist, dude. Like go delete it, okay? Weird. But also music can be healing, and it can be a way of communicating when you can't find the right words. Like maybe there's somebody that is good for you that you're meant to speak to, and you just can't find the right words. Sometimes I communicate through music. It's something that I learned in therapy when I was a teenager. I always had difficulty communicating with my mom because our relationship has not always been the healthiest. So something that my therapist taught me to do was to play a song that represented how I feel. And I'm gonna wrap this reading up because my daughter just woke up. But play a song that represents how you feel. So maybe like there's somebody you want to communicate with that you're having trouble communicating with. Maybe send them a song. Movement, but it's in reverse. So the message is to be still. Get still with yourself, meditate. Intuition's coming out. Trust your intuition. Rest, come back to center. Give yourself some rest. Get out of that workaholic mindset. Sweet treat. Treat yourself to something new, something fresh, something awesome. Plan a vacation. Maybe you are, and this is in reverse, so maybe you have been wanting to make a trip or a move or do something different. This is confirmation that you need to do that. Clear out your energetic field. Same thing like as before with the clean your space. Clean your physical space, but also clean your emotional space. Gigi, stay off camera because you are in your underwear and we don't want to be naked on there.
Mommy,
what?
I thought I took the good nap.
You did a good job.
Wait, can I have a drink?
Yeah, but go around the phone that way because I don't want you to be naked on the camera.
I went behind it.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Hi, this is your introduction into my kids. This is Nova, the littlest one. She's 2, and then Gigi is off camera. They just took a nap and they were in their underwear. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you guys have a wonderful, magical day. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Remember, it's okay to heal. Please don't be afraid. Love you guys. Bye.
Which color one? I don't like it.